What's going on, you guys? This is Ian McKenzie with the Average Bros Fitness Weekly Blueprint, where I discuss some of the finer points that I covered with some of the guests that I had on the show. And this is something that I'm trying to do on the regular, just to give you guys a very real summary of some cutting-edge topics from the people I interviewed, because I think their information bears repeating, and I think giving it to you guys in a summarized form, giving you the key points and the things I found interesting is going to help you guys a little bit more on your journey and keep the ball rolling for ways that you guys can reinvent your physical lifestyle, according to fitness, according to dieting. So I want to talk a little bit about my latest interview. It was with Dr. Jacob Harden, and he mentioned something that was so incredibly cool when it came to therapy in general. So this guy's a chiropractor. He is a nationally recognized speaker, owner of Prehab 101. He has an amazing approach to therapy, and he uses it in his practice. But what I liked about it is that he talked about the idea of messing with your load. And when I say messing with your load, I mean making sure the load reflects where you are in the movement. And again, what I mean by that is if you have inhibitions in certain kinds of exercises, be it squat, be it deadlift, right? The idea of scaling revolves around making the necessary changes so that you can still do that movement, but do it according to your own limitations. Oftentimes, we get caught up in the rigmarole of implementing quote-unquote mobility movements. Even though they have their place in therapy, Dr. Jacob was advocating the necessity to rather put the focus on changing your movement within the movement, right? Building strength within a movement is simply about practice, right? You're not necessarily going to be able to take discrete mobility exercises and apply them to a better understanding and a better feeling within the movement that you're trying to fix, be it a squat, deadlift, like I said. So, and this also goes back to what Kyle Dobbs was saying. He was talking about the same principle, the idea of scaling. And he was more or less working on the actual training portion. He was talking about how he approaches scaling with his clients and training. Dr. Jacob talked about scaling and load manipulation with his therapy clients, right? And oftentimes it really is about making these changes so that a specific goal can be reached. Within the world of therapy, Dr. Jacob mentioned that people are very focused on particular goals, and sometimes he meets with people that know they have to get somewhere. They might be preparing for a show. They might be getting ready for something. So how do you take the concept of self-therapy, right? Doing that while at the same time working towards your goal that sort of requires you to stay strong within these movements. Well, he was talking about load manipulation. And to be more specific, when it comes to somebody preparing for a show, if you're going to do load manipulation properly, you can still achieve muscle gain and hypertrophy even if you have to severely decrease the weight and severely increase the amount of reps. This can be done. In this way, you can mitigate your injury and at the same time work towards your goals. So I liked how he took this very innovative approach to therapy and applied it to anybody working toward a goal. It can be done, and it should be done. It should be done in your mind. You should think of these things, Think that practice makes perfect. You can have trouble within a movement, right? You can have trouble within a squat. But instead of completely backing away from the movement, find out what you guys can do within it to sort of tackle the injury by yourself. So there's so many different approaches to the idea of scaling, but that is what I am coming to learn, especially when you're looking at a person from the eyes of a new personal trainer. Sometimes you have to go into it thinking about the scaling motive, right? And he brought in another key crucial fact that I thought was so interesting is that as personal trainers, our goal, right, is to give the people workouts. Our goal as fitness coaches, if we personal train somebody, our goal is not injury prevention. Our goal is not to diagnose the injury. We cannot sit there and say, Oh, you have a hurt back? Well, let's do this, this, and this to work on your hurt back. Kind of operating out of your scope there, right? Rather, you do the workout, but you do things that simply scale the movement so the person can get through it. That's what you do. That is what you do. That way you are working within ethical boundaries and you guys are not at risk of anything that goes against what you're trying to do as a personal trainer. So those are the things we have to remember whenever we are coaching somebody. And he brought that into the equation so well. And it made me think that, like, okay, this pertains to any personal trainer. The goal of your personal trainer, oftentimes we don't have this clear-cut mission statement or clear-cut motive to how we train. We think we got to do everything. The motive is exactly what he said. It's we are there to give them a workout and progress them toward their goals. How we do that effectively without furthering potential injuries is just simply making the movement possible for them to do, right? That way, they can maybe become stronger as time goes on and become better at it, right? I'll mention something else too, just real quickly, right? Lately in the interviews, we've been talking about the psychological reasoning to getting somebody toward their goal, right? And I think what I'm getting from everybody, all of the therapists I've talked to, the trainers, the clear-cut answer that I have been looking for. And actually, I got this from Sam Hall and Marc Morris, and they were talking about the psychological aspects to training and pushing people toward their goals. And one of the big things was straightforward honesty, right? Being very honest with the person. This was the part that really made it clever, right? Hall was talking about this. He was saying that when we approach training somebody, we have to have a set plan that allows us to operate as a partner as opposed to a coach. And I like this because oftentimes my big beef with coaches or personal trainers is that you're just paying somebody to count your reps. I mean, truly, that's what I felt like. That's why I backed away from it, is because I didn't feel like I was doing anything for these people. I didn't feel like I was offering anything, you know? I was just counting their reps. But digging into the brain of that person requires creating a clear-cut plan and description of what they can expect from your training, right? I'll go into more detail later, but that's it. I just wanted to summarize a couple cool topics. I'll probably give you guys a part 2 to this video. So go check out averagerosefitness.com. We're on Spotify. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Lots of cool content, mainly the interviews which bring together fitness professionals and regular people with amazing stories so that you guys have a level playing field of fitness to choose from, because the information you get from the professionals is the same as the information you get from people who did the research. That's the important thing.